still with Indonesia. What are the things which have marked Huzur the most during this blessed tour, and what are the things which Huzur would like to see us adopt from the character of the Indonesian Ahmadis?
I think there are quite a few things the rest of the world can learn from the Indonesian Ahmadis. They are very steadfast, very devout, and in their love of Ahmadiyya they become extremely emotional. It's very difficult for them to hold their tears, which are tears of joy and love. So I have never seen so many eyes shedding tears as I've seen in Indonesia. Old and young and children and women and children, all alike. So there is that love which is, you don't have to explain why, how. It's in their nature. And secondly, it's a land of miracles. Hazrat Maulvi Rahmatullahi Sahib, Rahmatullah Alayh, was a very pious person. You can see still the sign of his great miracles. I tell you one out of so many. There was a lady who met me who spoke quite fluently, and later on I discovered that she was completely dumb at the time of Maulvi Rahmatullahi Sahib. She was a young child, and he picked him in his lap and pokes a finger in his throat and says, "Speak." And she started speaking. Ever since, so I have collected many witnesses from there, about 100 witnesses who know that this is exactly what happened. So it shows that the preaching, the best art of preaching is to pray. And if you are pious and God-loving, and if Allah shows miracles for you, then you can change many hearts. Because there is no argumentation, just if the people know that God is with such and such person, and then it's quite sufficient in itself for preaching. So in Indonesia I saw many great things with the grace of Allah, but for the time being this should suffice. Then I quote another one, because I've seen it with my own eyes. When Maulvi Sahib, Hazrat Maulvi Sahib was there, I don't remember which year it happened, but still I could go to the place and see with my own eyes all the connected houses, wooden houses, which were there once, and people were still alive who had seen it with their own eyes. Once in the wooden houses which were connected, about 50 or more houses were completely burned to ashes by wildfire, and the wind was in the direction of Hazrat Maulvi Sahib's house. That was the last house, and all people ran away and started shrieking, "Maulvi Sahib, come down, vacate the house, the fire is now about to touch your house." So he said, "It's impossible. I am the slave of the Abraham of time, whom Allah said in Ilham, आग हमारी गुलाम बल्कि गुलामों की भी गुलाम है. Fire is our slave. Not only this, but it is also slave of our slaves." He said, "I am a slave of Hazrat Masih Maud Islam. Fire will not touch me until it start lapping the sides of his house." And there was strong wind in that direction. So people thought now the house and the Maulvi Sahib will be consumed by fire. Then suddenly the same wind was carrying on its shoulders thick clouds. They suddenly burst open with such thunders that the fire started lapping at his door, bowed down and turned into ashes. and nothing happened to the house where Maulvi Sahib lived, and nothing happened to it. Hundreds of thousands of people after that, because of such miracles, had become Ahmadis. According to historical records, they say about 500 people had already become Ahmadis during his lifetime. But unfortunately they were wasted later on. There was no organization to hold them together, so they spread out, and when I was elected as Caliph, the total number of Indonesian Ahmadis was 7,000 to 10,000, because then baths were recorded. And since that time, with the grace of Allah, Indonesia has crossed the mark of 200,000, 300,000 again. And there are hopes that within next 3 years, inshallah, the number of Ahmadis in Indonesia will rise to be greater than that of Pakistani Ahmadis. They are fully charged, they are absolutely decided that now they will go by leaps and bounds. I have met one king of one area who is the king of a land with his subjects amounting to 500,000. And he came somehow, I don't know why he came when I visited there during my first Jummah, and immediately he decided to become Ahmadi. So when he returned, I was wondering why he had disappeared. I thought he came and went. But last night when I was there, the night before I was to leave Indonesia, the king was there along with some of his relatives and friends, and he had brought them to show them that this is the Khalifa and this is Ahmadiyyat and this and that. So they all became Ahmadis, and they returned with a vow that within 1 year, inshallah, we'd convert the entire kingdom to Ahmadiyyat. So the way they were determined, I'm quite sure, inshallah, with the help of Allah, it will so happen. So many doors for the future victories have been opened, and this is special favor of Allah that He permitted me to go there while they wanted previous caliphs to come and visit, but it didn't happen, unfortunately, for them. Right?